So, welcome back to another episode. Now, I just walked in the door like 10 minutes ago from seeing the new Ghost in the Shell movie, and it's an adaptation of the manga and the anime film that were released a long time ago. And I just want to say, I'm a huge fan of Shirow Masamune. I love this guy. I've been following his work. Look at all the stuff I've collected over the years. When he did Appleseed, I've been following him for years. Love every single thing he's done. So I first found him through Appleseed, and then I started reading Orion, which was just a phenomenal series by him. And then in 1991, the early 90s, I found Ghost in the Shell, and I read everything I could. I fell in love with Ghost in the Shell. So I went into the movie being a huge Shiro fan of the source material, especially the manga. And I said to myself walking in, just put these away. I watched the animated film the other night just to get caught up. You know, I'd seen the film I think 20 years ago and I needed to catch up on it again. So I said, leave all this at the door. What do we think of this movie? It's okay. It's really a bit underwhelming. It's all I can say. It's very superficial. It's very soulless. This movie, no pun, it has no soul. I feel it has no soul. None of the characters have soul. It just takes you through the movie. I never felt at any time excited or happy or sad or scared or worried. I felt no emotion watching this. I felt like a robot watching this. This was me watching the whole movie. I didn't feel anything, and Scarlett Johansson, she does fine. She does okay. It's like, I don't know what more she could do. She's playing an android. You know, she's gonna do a singing and dancing routine. I get that, but it was just kind of like, yeah, she was going through the paces. It was fine. The guy who played Bato did a pretty good job. It's really weird sometimes when you're so close to the source material and you bring it into a film. Sometimes that character translates really unusually. So Bato getting really angry and over-exaggerated, and at times it just felt over-exaggerated rather than being a real character in this movie. And I'm not going to give any spoilers or plot things or anything like that. I'm just going to talk generally about the movie. The plot is fine. It covers pretty much the movie, the animated movie. It changes quite a few things, and I guess what I was hoping for, it would change it enough that it becomes its own thing. Because when Ghost in the Shell came out was 1991. This is before the internet. So a lot of the stuff in here was being plugged into the internet, jacking in type of thing, and being a part of the net, of the vast network. Where in 2017, now that we have all of that, it doesn't seem as edgy. It seems kind of like, okay, these characters can hack in to computers. We've seen it in so many movies. It's not a shock. It's not as cool as the first time I saw Ghost in the Shell, the animated film, and I was like, wow, seeing the special effects in the animated film really blew me away back then. I was like, this is state of the art. And I watched it the other night, I'm like, well, it shows its age a little bit, but it's a timeless classic film. But I felt the action was okay. Some of the action was pretty neat, but it wasn't compelling. I felt that the director, Rupert Sanders, I felt that he didn't really come in with enough of a vision. It was like, let me say, the movie looks pretty good. It's very CG in the city. It has some atmosphere. Some scenes are right out of the manga and the film, the animated film, and they look good. But I guess what I was hoping for was for the director to really put a little bit of himself in there. It feels, the movie's very superficial. It tries to be deep, but it's not deep at all. It brings up these things as, what is it to be human? What is it to be a robot? What is it to be a machine? Are we losing our humanity? And I never really pondered that question all the way through it. It never made me go, yeah, geez, that is an important thing in this movie. It just kind of went straight over me. I didn't feel anything watching this movie. That was what was really weird. I can't say that enough. I just was going through the paces. It was just one scene to the next. And it was like, okay, a lot of talking scenes, which is fine if it's adding to the plot. And I never thought that it was. I felt it was very amateurish in its direction and some of the choreography and the fight sequence. It was very, very amateurish. I was a little disappointed. I guess I was, if Ridley Scott had brought his mark into Ghost in the Shell, he would have changed the whole fucking thing. But he would have made it into something more unique. And I think what this director has done is he stayed so close to the source material. He didn't venture off. He didn't risk a little bit more. And the movie comes off as flat. It doesn't really bring anything new. I enjoyed watching the animated movie the other night. And the animated movie is quite slow at times. But it still has a little bit more going on there emotionally. I felt more watching the animated film the other night than I did this one. I just, as I say, was going through the paces, and then the movie ended, and I was like, okay, that was a movie. And I walked out, and the thing is I will never watch the movie again. It was okay. If you're a fan like I am, and I'm a massive fan of Ghost in the Shell, are you going to like this movie? I think it's worth a watch. If you're a fan of the source material, it's worth a watch. For sure. But the screener that I was in tonight, some people were walking out. It's a really weird film to, I guess, to do not know any of the source material and just watch it as its own thing. You're like, okay, it's got some cool special effects a bit, but it doesn't really give you anything. And I think audiences sometimes want a little bit more to take with them, leaving the theater to ponder, to walk down the street, talk to your friends about, and go, yeah, wasn't that brought up a lot of points, didn't it? Did nothing. It was a very shallow movie experience, and I was really kind of disappointed. It was better than what I was really going in thinking it's not going to be good, but it was a little bit better than that, but it didn't elevate to anything that made me go, wow, yes! And that was disappointing. So it was Ghost in the Shell, the live-action movie, pretty much what I expected, but it could have been worse. It could have been Dragon Ball, the live-action movie. It could have been worse, I guess. So I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10 if I had to rate it, and even then I think it's a little high. I think I could slip down to a 6.5. It's because I'll never see the movie again. I don't even want to see any special features on the making of, because I don't care at all. I don't care about any of the characters, and I don't care to see them ever again, unfortunately. So anyways, guys, until next time.